everyone, welcome to Essy Cooks. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make your own vegan fondue. This is a homemade vegan fondue or a dairy-free fondue. It is so delicious. It's perfect for date night. It's perfect as an appetizer for your dairy-free guests, and it tastes amazing. You can totally mix it up with what you dip in it, and look at that cheesy texture. Okay, so the base of this is going to be cashews. I've got some dry roasted, unsalted cashews. You can use raw cashews as well. And I need 1 cup. This is going to be fondue for 2, so if you want fondue for 4, just double the recipe. I would say it doesn't keep that well afterwards for reheating and everything like that because of the tapioca starch. So just make the amount that you think you're going to be eating night of. So I'm going to go ahead and just pour some boiling water right onto those cashews and let them soak for about 10 to 20 minutes. All right, so I drained all the water off my cashews, and I'm just going to add them right to a high-powered blender. A high-powered food processor would work for this too. Next up, I have 3 cloves of garlic. I just peeled them and cut off the ends, but you don't need to do anything further because the blender will take care of it. Then half a tablespoon of lemon juice is just going to add some nice tang. If you have fresh, great. If not, don't worry about it. You can use it right out of the bottle if that's more convenient. Then I've got 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. That's going to add such a nice cheesy flavor, which is the same as 1/8 cup. Add that right in. And my absolute favorite ingredient, I hope you can see this, it's shiro miso. Any white miso paste will work. I just find this one is so flavorful. It adds that sort of aged cheddar flavor, aged cheese flavor to any of your vegan cheeses. So highly recommend getting that in there. I've got 1 teaspoon of white miso paste. And then to thicken this, I'm going to be using tapioca flour, which is also known as tapioca starch. Cornstarch won't give the same sort of stringy, cheesy texture as this tapioca flour or tapioca starch, so I recommend getting this as well. I know some of these ingredients are kind of random, so another tip is that you can just go to the bulk store and get a tiny little bag of the ingredients that you do need just to make this fondue, because if you're like, you know what, I'm not gonna use a whole bag of tapioca flour, don't worry, just get that at the bulk store and that's the perfect option. So I'm going to be putting in half a teaspoon of tapioca flour. If for some reason your cheese is not getting thick enough, you can add in another half teaspoon, but be careful because as you heat it, tapioca starch gets very thick and it gets very stringy, which is great. We want that because we want that kind of stringy cheese texture situation. I'm gonna add in the tapioca flour. And last but not least, I have 1.5 cups of vegetable broth. Any vegetable broth will work here. Now you can add a little bit of salt in this just to taste if you want to add salt, but I find between the miso and the vegetable broth, it is salty enough for me. Now we are going to blend this up until it is smooth, creamy, and the cashews are all blended. If you don't have a high-powered blender, you may want to soak your cashews overnight. I know that's kind of a pain, but just a thought, just to make sure that they are fully creamy and we're not getting like a nutty, grainy texture in this. All right, let's blend it up. All right, now I'm going to be putting half a cup of beer. This is an IPA just because it's all I had in the fridge, but a lager is going to be the best thing you can use for this. And using a beer obviously has gluten in it, so if you want to make this gluten-free, just use half a cup of a dry white wine and it will work perfectly in this. So I'm just going to add this right into a pot. Using beer is going to help keep the cheese nice and stringy, and it's going to help keep it from fully solidifying. So it does definitely have its use in this recipe, and it's not just for the flavor, but of course, beer and cheese flavor, I mean, they go together like bread and butter, vegan butter, so good. And now I'm just bringing this to a boil, and I'm going to allow it to just simmer. I'm going to reduce it to a simmer for about 5 minutes before adding in my cheese sauce. And in the meantime, I am actually going to be preparing some steamed vegetables. So you can serve this with whatever you want. You can choose any cooked vegetables. I mean, anything that would taste good with cheese. So broccoli, cauliflower, mushrooms, zucchini, bell peppers, whatever you want. And you can add a protein source like a tofu or a cooked vegan sausage. You can put bread, crackers, chips, pickles. I mean, anything that goes with cheese is going to go perfectly with this. So whatever you like, you can serve with this. You can make it complicated. You can make it easy. You can do whatever you want. Okay, we are boiling now, so I'm just going to reduce that to a simmer for about 5 minutes. Put that down on low. Okay, now it's time to add in the cheese sauce. I'm going to add this directly into the pot. You're going to want to have your whisk handy because you're going to want to whisk this rapidly for 3 to 4 minutes. All right, so we're really bubbling. I cranked it up to medium-high heat just to get it really going, but you want to keep whisking it so that it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pot. I'm turning it down to medium-low heat now, and I'm just going to keep cooking this for another couple minutes or until it's thickened. I'm not seeing that thick, cheesy texture that I want quite yet. Like I said, after 4 minutes, if it's still not quite thick enough, we can add a little bit more tapioca starch, but we likely won't need to because it is thickening up beautifully on its own. You can see how much that is thickening now. We're starting to get a really nice sauce. Maybe just 1 more minute to thicken up just a little bit more. And then we are going to add in our final ingredient. All right, now you could totally serve it just like this. It is looking thick and creamy and oh my goodness, so cheesy for a vegan cheese. This is so flavorful. But what I like to do is I like to add in half a cup of shredded vegan mozzarella. I just find this really adds to it. But if you're not eating vegan cheese for whatever reason and you're just wanting to make it all homemade, it is ready to go. But I'm going to add in that vegan mozzarella, stir that in, and then we'll be ready to serve. You can taste test it if you like. Oh, wow. You can eat this straight out of the pot, or if you have a fondue pot, even better. Just make sure to put a hot plate under it. Oh my goodness. So I ended up serving mine with some fresh rye French loaf, which was so good in here. Just think of anything that's going to be good dipped in cheese and go ahead and add that in. I did some steamed broccoli, some steamed mushrooms, and some pickles as well. And this was the perfect date night dinner. This is absolutely perfect for Valentine's Day. It's really great as an appetizer that you can serve to guests. You can enjoy this with your friends. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you loved this video, and if you loved it, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button because I'm coming out with new recipes like this one every single week.